link play between the half-back and half-forward line, and his ability to get scores like that as well.
And Jerry O'Connor has given Cork fans some wonderful moments over the years. He's been real twinkle toes with his twin brother Ben in midfield. Cusson up towards Paddy O'Sullivan. Paddy O'Sullivan would love to get on the scoreboard as well. Now, how's he done here? He's done really well. Another for Cork. One of those golden days for the Rebels, and they lead by 3-15 to 14 points. Beaten in the past couple of years by Tipperary, home and away, but there was no doubting the excellence of their performance here and the quality of their victory. They're ahead by 10 points into the final minute. And Tipperary have some reorganising to do after this. Lar Corbett feeding it across here. One last opportunity maybe, and it's gone out for a 65. Goalkeeper again makes the stop. Should have been in the back of the net, Timmy Hammersley.
I don't know, did he save it? I can see here now, but I just know it was Brian Murphy, the corner back.
Brian
got
Murphy,
the touch to it, yeah. Good block down.
So this will probably be the final piece of action. And referee still having words with one of his umpires down there. Bit of encouragement, no doubt. And ball's gone in, and the referee is going to call across.
Pulled early there.
Yeah.
I think it was Seamus Hennessy, was it?
It's Timmy Hammersley and Seamus Hennessy. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he pulled a fraction early under the high ball.
So there's a late yellow card issued to Seamus Hennessy, and that should be more or less that. A 10-point victory for Cork against Tipperary, their great old rivals in Munster down the years. Referee checks on his watch, blows his whistle. It's all over at Cork, and the Munster champions of 2009 and 8 have been beaten, and beaten decisively. Paddy O'Sullivan came on, but from goalkeeper Donal O'Cusack right through the substitutes, each and every one of them, and including in particular Asaki O'Halpine, who got a goal and a point. His goal after 60 minutes was the one that eventually put the seal on Cork's victory. And Michael, all the way through, I know you were hugely impressed.
Yeah, you know, Ger, it's very easy right off a team. They've huge experience, they've been brilliant All-Ireland champions, you know, but you had to go back a few years for a performance like that. They've had a lot of trouble off the field. You know, they've shown great resolve, they've stood up for what they believed was right, you know, for them as a team, and the pressure was on them today to deliver. And Dennis Walsh came in as a manager. This is his first season with them all year, and I have to say that's a brilliant team performance. Their teamwork, their discipline, their determination, everything was outstanding. And you know, Tipperary did probably roll over. It's a day things didn't go well for them. Everything went right for Cork. They got all the breaks, but you'd have to say a very, very professional performance. And you know, they're going to be a big threat after that, and everyone's going to sit up and take notice of them again.
Well, the question is whether they'll be able to maintain this standard all the way through the summer. They were 2 points up at half-time. They scored a goal and 10 in the second half, and Tipperary's reply during the second period was only 5 points. It wasn't much to build upon the 9 they got in the opening half when they were a bit more competitive, but Cork simply blew them asunder in the second half with an overwhelming performance, a 15-man effort. And Dennis Walsh, the manager who came in here to take charge of a team and of a county board and the county itself that was looking and longing for success. And he's the man who's come in, and he's done it with Pa Finn, an experienced head, with Pat Buckley, a former colleague, a former midfield star from Milford, Jerry Ryan as well, who's a great hurling man. They came in, they brought in some extra backroom people with them to put together the bones of a brilliant team to build upon for the future. And Kieran Fraggy Murphy there, the team captain, will be one of those celebrating tonight.
Yeah, and Gerard, I suppose you'd say, you know, Tipperary this year, they won the last 2 Munster championships, they've won the National League under this management. So, you know, winning a Munster is not high on their agenda, but still they wouldn't set out, you know, to be beaten by 10 points today. But they're, you know, they go in the back door, they're definitely going to improve. You don't become a bad team overnight. They had an outstanding year last year, were a puck of the ball away from winning the All-Ireland. So, you know, if they regroup, get everything right, get a couple of matches under their belt, they could well be back into the wreck. They have to be, because, you know, before the match today, they've been rated very, very close to being the top team in the country. So, you know, they're not going to go away overnight, but they'll be very, very disappointed. But still, they're stung now, you know, and they have to go back to the drawing board. And later on in the summer, I think they're still going to be there.
No cups handed out today, but a major victory for Cork. Full-time score at Páirc Uí Chaoimh in the first round of the Munster Championship. It's Cork 3-15. It's Tipperary 14 points. Des.
All right, thanks a million, Ger and Michael. That was something, wasn't it? Just to give you the other results of the day, Offaly and Antrim in the Leinster Hurling Championship, it went to extra time before Offaly pulled away then to win by 226 to 316. Antrim led by a point with a minute to go in that match, but Offaly win. They go through to play Galway in the Leinster semi-final. In the Ulster Football Championship, Down beat Donegal by 2 points after extra time. It finished down 115. Donegal 2 goals and 10 points. And in Connacht, an easy enough win for Roscommon at Ruislip. They beat London by 14 points to 6. Roscommon now play Leitrim. And of course, we'll have highlights of all of those games tonight and the Sunday game at 9:30. But what about that one? Well, Cyril, I suppose nothing gives a championship a buzz like a Cork team on the row.
Yeah, well, I think it's 40,000. That was the real kick-off of today. Like, we needed this championship game. Now, most people felt to be tight, and most people win for tip. I included that to win the match. No one envisaged that Cork could win by 10 points. But I think it's a success for not only it's the Cork team, Cork panel, and the management. Dennis Welch got it very right. Half-back line back in again. Cadigan, injured Morris all year, in full-back, brilliant. 2 cornerbacks, they are great guys, O'Neill Murphy. You know, the Conductor Dorcas and Donald Cusick, they were completely on top. And then up front, he stuck with Osaki, when most people said after the league final that Osaki wasn't on song. But like, to me in the league final, he was just that little bit off. And still, you was fine that he'd improve. And all over the pitch, it was the work rate of the Cork forwards and the backs, the pressure to put on, the movement, the scores. Like, Ben O'Connor was like reinvented again. Like, they looked, even there, as you were remarking yourself, after the game, you could see how much it meant. A lot of them players have won All-Irelands. Yeah. To me, I just feel that today they felt this was bigger in All-Ireland because all this other thing has been put to rest. And they're back on song again. Now, Tip will be very disappointed to go down by 10 points because they fell away completely in the end. Forwards are all disarray. But they won't go away that quick because they'll come back into the qualifiers. They'll be still very, very dangerous now. They'll be very, very hurt. They'll have a lot to think about. But Cork tonight will be very happy. And they have the few players to come back in. Like Tomas here is always on about Jim O'Sullivan. Came on and tapped over a great point. Like, these guys are still very good hurlers. They're going to be a force and they'll go from strength to strength.
But isn't it interesting, Jerry, once again, we can forget about league final form based on this weekend. You know, everyone's raving about Galway and Cork. They haven't got the legs anymore.
Well, it's really changing, isn't it, as the year goes on. But I think the message from today is let no one ever again question the quality, the character, the intelligence, not to talk of the ability of this great Cork team. They've been a superb team for the last 10 years. Whenever questions were really answered of them, they came out and they answered them. This was the best display I've seen them give since they played Galway 3 seasons ago below in Thurles. Now, I was standing in the sideline that day and I saw the character of them, the fire they have in them, the determination, the belief they have, the unity they have of that group of Cork players. On and off the field, they are absolutely mighty men. Now, they demolished Tipperary today. I don't want to say they humiliated them, but I mean, Tip didn't score from play in the second half. That's unbelievable for this Tipperary team who scored 23 points in the All-Ireland last year against Kilkenny.
5 points,
5 points altogether.
Yeah.
This was a demolition job.
That's a glowing tribute to Cork, Tomas, but it's still only the end of May and September. There's still a long way, isn't there?
Yeah, but I think the crucial thing, and you mentioned the league final, Des, right? Even though Cork were beaten in the league final, right, their focus was always going to be on Tipperary in the championship. It was a big bonus to get to the league final, to introduce 30 or 40 players that he did use throughout the challenge matches and the league performance. And I take it back to Tipperary. I mean, they didn't take the league seriously this year by all accounts, right, that they were gearing for this championship. They had the All-Ireland series. And it showed today big time. It showed big time. You cannot beat competitive matches, you know, and you just cannot turn up on a day and expect to turn on the tap and automatically come.
All right, we're going to chat about that, and we're going to chat about where Tipperary are and their progress. So stay with us for more on this afternoon's big hurling encounter. We're back after this.